Hi there everyone, welcome back to the channel, and welcome to this 1500 point Tempest of War game between the new forces of the Astra Militarum and the Leagues of Votann. Today's battle report could very well have been called Battle of the New Toys, as today I have received the Cadia Stands army box, including the limited edition Codex and all the new cards with the orders and stratagems on them, and they are going to be facing off against my bolstered Leagues of Votann. So rocking some new models, including the Hackathon Land Fortress and 5 of the Terminator equivalents in this 1500 point battle. So with Tempest of War, here's our mission for today. We've got Dawn of War deployment. We are not going to be able to use the Ensave Bravery stratagem, and for our primary, it's Taken Hold. So 5 victory points for controlling 1, 2, or more objective markers than your opponent. In terms of layout on the table, most of our terrain is going to be pretty straightforward. What you see is what you get. Ruins will be ruins, craters will be craters. For the layout of the objective markers, in the Guards home deployment, we have this one held by an infantry squad and the Cadian Castellan. Then going across no man's land, we have 1, 2, and 3. 3 might be a little close to the edge of the battlefield, so we'll just scooch that over. And then opposite on the Leagues of Votann, we have a squad of warriors and the Grimnir holding down their home objective. So with that, we're going to go into the armies. We'll start off with the Cadians, and forgive any rustling of paper. Had to do my list the old-fashioned way on a piece of paper since Battlescribe is still not updated. But we have a battalion today for our Imperial Guard. For my doctrine, I took Born Soldiers, since I usually run my guard as Cadians. Felt that was appropriate for the mindset that the remnants of Lost Cadia would still have. So Born Soldiers is what was Hammer of the Emperor. 6s will automatically wound, and if I'm within 6 inches of an officer, I get to use their leadership. So we have a battalion with 3 HQs. We have a Cadian Castellan who's going to be castling up with this infantry squad. He is the Warlord with Grand Strategist, so a 5-up CP regen. We also have a Cadian Command Squad with what you see is what you get. We have a Grenade Launcher, Regimental Standard, Master Vox, Metapack, and then that is going to be a bolt pistol, not a bolt gun, on the commander in that squad. And then rounding it out for our HQ is a tank commander with the Executioner Plasma turret and a las cannon. He also, for 5 points, got armored tracks. And he's going to be holding on to the reliquary of Tiberius. So an additional order on him going out to his tanks. In terms of troops, we have 4 identical squads of Cadian shock troops with a single Vox and single plasma gun. 3 of them are going to be starting on the table. 3 of them in each of these ruins, and then a final in my 1 Chimera. And since I'm on it, has Heavy Bolter and Multi-Laser. Also purchased Armored Tracks and a Dozer Blade with some of the points I had left over. In the center, we can start off with our elites. I have 5 Bullgrins with them all, as well as a single Engine Seer, filling out some of my elite slots. In fast attack, it's the Hellhound with Armored Tracks again. And then rounding out the army will be my heavy support of a Manticore. He's purchased Mechanical Pack Rat for his tank ace ability. And in my 2 Leman Russes, I have 1 with the Battle Cannon and triple heavy bolters with armor tracks, and a Leman Russ with armor tracks and double plasma guns on the sponsons. Let's see, just looking over my list right here. Yes, with my final 40-ish points, I spent 20 of it on Veteran Commander to give my Tank Commander an additional doctrine, which is going to be Armored Superiority. And then we will get into what those new things do as we go through the game. And that is the Imperial Guard. So let's see the Xenos that they will be facing down. In the forces of the Leagues of Votann that are going to go up against the newly emboldened Imperial Guard, I'm going to be running 1,500 points of the Urani Surtur Regulates. That's my usual one that I run of +1 toughness and reroll failed morale tests. Our Ancestral Judgment is if they have 0 judgment tokens, I count them as having 1. They'll always have at least 1 when I'm targeting them. For my HQ, I have a Call with the bolt gun and the plasma axe. She's purchased the Rampart crest, and her warlord trait is a long list. So if she destroys anything, or if anything is destroyed that had a grudge token on it, she gets to place a new one on a new unit. I also have a new model, the Grimnir, with her 2 Corvs. I've chosen to give her from the Skeenrot Discipline Interface Echo and Fortify. So Interface Echo gets me a CP, and fortifies an additional toughness and a 6-up feel no pain on a unit. And then finally I have the Einhir Champion with the hammer, which has been upgraded to Exactor as the Army Relic. And then the non-teleporting crest, which I am blanking on the name of, the Weavefield Crest. Thank you, Brain, or thank you, Codex, rather. That's my 3 HQ. And then in my troops, I have 3 10-man squads of warriors. 2 of them are going to be identical, with the bolt guns, plasma sword on the call, a L7 missile launcher, a Magna Rail, a medic, a scanner, and the Vox antenna, or Vox equivalent antenna. So we're going to have one of those squads over here, and a second of those warrior squads over here with the call. And then finally over here on the home field objective is a 10-man squad with all of the, not ion beamers, all of the ion blasters. No other upgrades there, but again, a plasma sword on the Thane, not the call, excuse me. For the fast attack, I have 2 nearly identical squads of the Pioneers. Only difference is that one of them is going to have the beamer, one of them is going to have the autocannon equivalent. Both of them will also have a roll bar searchlight and the Vox antenna to be in 24-inch range of the call's rerolls. And then finally, we have a Hecaton Land Fortress here with a heavy beamer on the turret weapon, 4 of the bolt cannons. We have the Einhir Champion, and then a squad of 5 Einhir. The leader has a hammer. The rest of the squad will have their mass gauntlets, and all of them are carrying the plasma guns for their ranged weaponry. The Hecaton Land Fortress also has the scanner, not any of the warheads. So excuse while I flip into the book to remind myself of the name of that, as I will probably do a lot. The pan-spectral scanner, so the ignoring light cover. And then that should just about do it for the Leagues of Votann and for the armies in today's battle. So, definitely a lot of new toys and a lot of new rules, so I'm going to guess there's probably going to have to be a lot more pauses and a lot more stuff done off camera for this battle report, but nothing to it but to do it. So let's get on in with the roll-off for first turn. Green will be the guard, blue will be the Leagues of Votann, and that's going to be a tie on a double 1. And that is going to be Leagues of Votann, turn 1. Here we are at the start of the movement phase for the Leagues of Votann. We have stayed at 12 CP, getting rid of Investigate Site with new orders and replacing it with Capture Enemy Outpost. So, not a very doable one for the first turn. We also have Grind Them Down and Bring It Down. The Bring It Down target for the guard is going to be the Leman Russ with triple heavy bolters and the Battle Cannon to try to keep some heat off of the anti-tank Vanquisher and the Tank Commander. Both of the squads of Pioneers have just moved up with their 12-inch pre-game move. And the Call, who unfortunately was not able to afford to upgrade to be High Call, simply put her 1 free judgment token on the Tank Commander so that we can eventually start whittling down some of the armor of the Guard. With that, we are going to continue on to the movement phase. Before I did, just because I didn't mention it in the pre-game, both of the armies are going to be starting off on 12 CP. No extra warlord traits, no extra relics for either of them. And then with that, we will get back to you at the beginning of shooting for the leagues. Everybody has moved on up. So we have 1 unit of Pioneers looking to pin down the Chimera, 1 unit of Warriors and the Hecaton moving up in the middle, 2nd squad of Warriors flanking around, and then 2nd squad of Pioneers pinning down some of the armor and hoping to take out that infantry squad for Grind Them Down. At the beginning of the Psychic phase, we're going to go off with Interface Echo first. So we are going to gain a CP on a 5-up. And with a 7, that'll do it. So we'll go back up to 13. And then we'll try to fortify, getting a 6. And on a 5, that will not do it. But I guess we just got the extra CP from 1. So we will try to reroll that. And with a 10, we will fortify. So this squad in the building has been fortified. So going from their base toughness of 4 all the way up to toughness 6, thanks to USRS and fortify, that is going to be a tough nut to crack, even without the added defense of the meta pack. So that is Psychic done and done. So now we will go on to shooting. We're going to start on over here with this unit of Warriors. We're going to declare the missile launcher and the Magna Rail rifle into the Vanquisher tank, and all of the bolt guns are going to go opposite into the infantry squad. Just to make sure that we don't kill this squad out of range, might as well use their guns while we have them. 7 bolt guns on 3s, re-rolling 1s from being in range with the Vox on the call. So take those on out. So 4 hits. Strength 4, toughness 3 will be 3 wounds. -1 will negate the cover, so we will go back up to 5s. And make 2 fail 1, so that will be 1 guardsman taken down. Now we're going to go on into the heavy weapons, starting with the focused attack from the missile launcher on a 3. That is cocked as you like it. So on a 3, makes it. Strength 9, toughness 8, so on another 3. 6 to wound, minus 2 AP will go to a 4 up. Does not make it. And we are... Yeah, we'll let that go through since we still have the heavier gun on the land fortress to worry about for the tanks. So d6 damage going into this tank. Ooh, 6 damage right there. So 6 taken on the Leman Russ from the missile launcher. And then the Magna Rail, 1 shot on a 2. So that will miss, but the missile launcher does take its toll. Next up, we're going to declare everything from the squad of pioneers into this infantry squad in the ruin. Starting off with the bolt shotguns on 3s. Re-rolling my 1. 2 misses. Strength 5, toughness 3. So 4 wounds minus 1 takes us back to our 5 of armor. That will be a 4, a 4. That's cocked, and then that is a 3. That is going to be 4 more of the guardsmen taken out from the shotguns. Now the autocannons from all of them. So that's 1, 2, and then 3 on 3s. Rerolling my 1s. 1, 6 will automatically go through for a wound. And then on a 2 to wound will be a total of all those. Minus 1 goes to minus done. So 5 up saves again. So saving 4 of them. So pretty good there. So another 3. So 7 down in total. And finally, we're going to take everything that we've got from the High-Las Rotary into the 2 remaining guardsmen. Rerolling my 1s. No 6s. So we do need to roll 2s to wound. And then minus 2 will be 6s. And that is definitely the squad wiped. Next up, we're going to move on to the Hecaton Land Fortress. Its heavy Magna Rail cannon is going to go on into the Bring It Down target of this Leman Russ, while the Matter autocannon and the 4 bolt cannons are all going to go into the Bulgrin that are currently hiding out inside of this ruin. So we are going to start off with our 1 shot from the heavy Magna Rail cannon on a 3. And that is a 2, and we definitely want this to go through. So we are going to use CP reroll to hit. Strength 14, toughness 8, so a 3 to wound. That'll be a 5. Minus 4, 2 up armor goes to 6 up. So 6 up save. On a 1, that will not do it. And I think we are... Oh, I think the Cadians would definitely want this to at least try to be a 6. So... just looking if there's anything else. No, there are some other armor or anti-armor guns that would be more likely to save with the reroll, so we'll let that go through. So it's going to be 2d3 plus 6 damage to the Leman Russ. So that is 2, 5, 11 damage going through to the Leman Russ from 1 shot as the Magna Rail reaches out and damn near blasts out the engine compartment. The rest of the shots have been resolved for the Hecaton Land Fortress, and we have 4 shots from the Matter autocannon and 2 shots from the bolt cannons going in. These are all minus 2 AP, 2 damage. So what we are going to do is we are going to take these on to the slab shields. So I will do the 4 from the autocannon first. So 2 up armor plus 1 in cover, -2 goes to a 3 up armor. 6, 6, 6, 5. Shrugs it off like it's no big deal, and then we'll keep taking it on slab shields. So our luck does run out, but that's 2 damage to one of the Bullgrin. So one of the ones with a slab shield will go down to 1 wound. So it looks like the Hecaton did most of its damage to the Leman Russ, and our ab-human buddies were a little bit more fortunate. Next up, we're going to go with this squad of the warriors, and we are going to try to rinse and repeat. We're going to have the Magna Rail and the missile launcher go into the 2 wound remaining Leman Russ, and then all of the bolt guns that we have left are also going to go into the Bullgrin. Try to at least finish the one with 1 wound off. The bolt gun shots from the squad were able to take one of the Bullgrin out. So we have 1 less of them to deal with, and then the heavy weapons resolved. The Magna Rail rifle missed, and we have 1 wound from the focus blast of the missile. So at -2, so this will be a 4-up save to hopefully save the Leman Russ, and we do. Next up, we have the Call and her gun. Her gun will be the Combi Bolter, is what she's armed with. Yep, so 4 shots from her, strength 20, or 4, strength 4 shots with 24-inch range. Will just fall short of the Leman Russ, so she is going to try to take some pot shots into the command squad. She was able to take 1 of the command squad out, so the grenade launcher has fallen, but thanks to the metapack, another one of the command squad did not fall, so that 5-up feel no pain's already showing that it is a good abundance here. And just pausing to check, the metapack is only for the bearers unit, so I couldn't have tried to do that for the Bullgrin. And now we are going to come on down to this side of the battlefield. We're going to have everything from the squad and the Grimnir go into this squad of infantry. Still trying to get in my head everything about the Leagues of Votann. The Ion Blaster is only 18-inch range, so they were not in range of the infantry squad. The Corvs did get 1 wound that was saved onto the infantry. So they are going to stand firm there. But with that, we are going to go to my last shooting unit, the 2nd unit of Pioneers. So everything except for the heavy weapon up here is going to go into this infantry squad. And then the rail rifle is going to go into the Chimera, trying to bring us up to a 2 on grind them down so that we can hopefully have 5 more points at the end of the guard's turn. 7 of this infantry squad have been killed by the Pioneers. And finally, we have the Beamer going into the Chimera with its 2 shots. Hitting on 3s, both hits. Strength 7, toughness 7, so 4s. Both of those will not do it, so that will be the Chimera untouched. So we are going to wrap it up in terms of shooting. For morale, the only unit that needs to roll is this unit, needing a 1 because they lost so many. That will be 1 fling and then 1s on 1 and 2s. So we do have just 2 left, but that is the leader and the plasma gun. So hopefully that can assist in killing the pioneers in our next turn. At the end of the turn for the Leagues of Votann, no secondaries have been scored. We're going to get rid of capture enemy outpost. We have a tally of 1 for grind them down, and we've almost killed our bring it down target. But unfortunately, that is it in terms of what we're able to do. So definitely neutered the infantry that the guard had to offer, but we will have to see how we can survive the remaining armor, especially the untouched manticore, as we go into turn 1 for the guard. Turn 1 with the Astra Militarum with their new book, and we're getting off to an okay start in terms of objective markers, or objectives rather. We need to investigate site, take no prisoners, and storm hostile objective. We did maintain 12 CP to throw away assassination, since all 3 of the characters are pretty well character blocked, and we have the pioneers in our front lines and the land fortress in the back to take care of. So some okay secondaries as we go into our first turn. I'm going to resolve anything else for the command phase off camera, since it is the first time piloting the new book. And I'll get back to you once we have finished commanding and moving. And all of the command phase abilities have been resolved for the guard. So the Cadian Castellan has ordered the remainder of this infantry squad right in front of him to take aim. So +1 to hit and improve the AP by 1. The command squad up here has ordered first rank fire, second rank fire on the infantry squad behind them. The tank commander with his laurels, or the reliquary of Tiberius, has given pound them to dust to the triple heavy bolter battle cannon, Russ, and gunner's kill on sight to the Vanquisher. In the command phase, I've also given Relentless to the battle cannon, Russ, so he counts as on full wounds. The Engine Seer has given a 5-up Feel No Pain to the tank commander. And while it is a little bit early, I've also spent a CP on Armored Fist, so that when this squad disembarks from their transport, they are going to be able to re-roll the wound. And that is 3 CP that I've spent at this point. I rolled the 5-up CP regen from my Warlord. Unfortunately, none of them got refunded. So trying to do my best to make sure that I'm getting everything that I can. So if anybody notices anything that I've missed so far, please excuse me. It is just me playing a completely new army and a lot of new toys with the Votann. But we will go on through the movement phase and come back to you at the start of shooting. And here we are at the beginning of the shooting phase. The Chimera has moved on up and disgorged its passengers with their Armored Fist CP. The Castellan is trying to castle on up and stay a bit protected. Hellhound's moving up and threatening the Leagues of Votann home objective. Bullgrin's got a 1-inch advance, so they're kind of out in the open, but at the very least they're a tougher target in the middle to hopefully soak up some shooting in turn 2. The Leman Russ have moved on forward, and the Vanquisher regained 3 wounds thanks to the Tech Priest, and then the Manticore and Tank Commander are moving on towards this unit of Pioneers, trying to take them down. So we are going to start off with the shooting phase. I'll do some of the chip shots, like the shots from this little squad, the Castellan, and the command squad. Then get back to you when we start into some firepower. After some plink shots with the 2 remaining squad, 2-man squad here and the Castellan, we actually have a wound left on this Pioneer. The command squad over here didn't actually kill anybody, but we did get a wound through on this squad, so they've used up their medic save. And then nothing else for chip shots really went through. So what we are going to do next is we are going to go on to this squad of infantry, and everything that they've got is going to go on to this squad of pioneers. The green die will be the plasma gun that is not going to be overcharged. So we are going to be looking for 4s, and then 6s will explode. So that 6 is going to be 1 extra hit. And then that does not look like a good hit roll. No, definitely not a good hit roll at all. We did get 1 that automatically went through from born soldiers at least. So now we are going to be wounding, and then strength 3. We will thankfully be able to reroll our wound from Armored Fist. And that will, at the very least, get us to... No, they start at T5, go up to T6 from USR. So that's going to be 2 las wounds and 1 plasma wound. So the 2 las gun wounds, no AP, will both go through. So that will at least take 1 model out, and then bring another one down to 2. And then the plasma gun will be a successful save. So, took 1 of them out at least. And next up, we're going to go to the Chimera. And the Chimera is going to blast everything that it's got into the Pioneers. 3 shots with the Heavy Bolter. And that will be that. And then 6 automatically goes through to a wound. Then Strength 5, Toughness 6, so 5. Doesn't make it. AP 1 goes to AP none, so 4 up save. Does not make it. 2 damage onto the Pioneer, and then our multi-laser hitting on a 3, since this is my turret weapon. Oof, yikes. And glad it was my turret weapon, so that's at least 1 hit. And strength 6, so on a 4. Makes it AP 1, goes to my AP none, and makes it. So the Chimera does kill off another one of the bikers, leaving just the 1 left. Next up is going to be the Hellhound. We have a Heavy Bolter in the hull, which is going to go into the 1 remaining Pioneer. And then his Inferno Cannon is going to go onto the Warrior Squad in the back. Starting off with our 3 shots from the Bolter on a 6, that will automatically wound. And then that will unfortunately not do anything else. So AP 1 goes to AP none, makes it. And then 2d6 shots for the Inferno Cannon into the Warriors. 4 shots. We have much more important shooting to do. Strength 6 into Toughness 6 now, so 4 is the wound. 3 wounds. AP2 goes to AP1, which is then going to be basically counteracted by the cover. So we're still at our 4-up armor saves. And a 4, 6, and a 2. That will take 1 of them out, since this squad does not have a medic in it. But definitely not as bad as it could have been. We're just going left to right, and we're going to go to this squad of infantry next, with 1st rank fire, 2nd rank fire. All of the las gun shots are going to go into the Warriors, while the plasma is going to move on to the land fortress, and he will also, he will overcharge just to try to throttle out a little bit more damage. So that is a lot of las shots, so we will resolve those shots off camera and then get back to you for those wounds. 7 wounds onto the warriors and 1 wound onto the land fortress. So AP 0 4-up saves for the warriors. And then, ooh, my goodness, wow. And then, oh my god. So that is, wow, this squad of infantry just might be the heroes that the Imperium relies on. So, because we did have to end up using our medic save, that is going to be 5 of the warriors down, and then a single wound taken off of the land fortress. So that is definitely a lot more than I was expecting out of that squad. And now we're going to start into the heavy weapons of the Leman Russ. So we're going to start off with the Vanquisher, and everything that he's got is going to go into the Hecaton. Try to take one of the biggest assets of the leagues off of the table. So we are going to fire everything that we've got, and we are going to overcharge those Sponson plasma cannons, sure as sugar. So we can start off with the Vanquisher battle cannon. So this is my turret weapon, so this is going to be hitting on a 3, re-rolling hits of 1, and a 6 will hit, and with my regiment that will automatically wound. So no invulnerable saves and D3 mortals in addition. So AP 5 is going to go to AP -4. So with a 2-up armor, it still has a 6-up save. And it makes the 6-up save. So that is going to be D3 plus 6 damage that it avoids taking, but it will still essentially take a free smite for the troubles. 1 mortal wound, so not great, but sure close. After all said and done, we have 1 wound from the overcharged plasma cannons at -2 total AP for void armor. So this is going to be a 4-up save, and 2 more damage taken onto the land fortress, bringing it down to a humble 12. So definitely not nearly as far as I would have liked, but we will still hopefully be enough to take it out. With that, I think we're going to be able to move on to the battle cannon, Leman Russ, and just trying to think what my best move is. I am going to, even though pound them to dust isn't really going to make too much of a difference, we will just trying to see, so strength 8, 3. Yeah, so I think I will go with the Leman Russ battle cannon into the land fortress, and then the triple heavy bolters into the 5 remaining squad of warriors. And our Leman Russ is able to take out 2 more of the warriors, but the land fortress remains stoic and saved on the 2 wounds from the battle cannon that went into it. That will unfortunately not take it down any further. And I think we have 2 left, so we're going to go to our final tank, our tank commander, firing everything he's got into the Pioneers, who, as you can see, have used Mag Rider for -1 to hit. So we're going to go on to the turret and last cannon to try to take 1 or 2 of them off the board. With all said and done from the tank commander, he only was able to kill 1 of them thanks to the -1 to hit. And then finally in the shooting phase is the Manticore. Manticore is going to try to chip some wounds off with his heavy bolter, and then 1 of his missiles is going to go flying into the land fortress. So we'll do the heavy bolter here real quick on a 5. Nothing there. And then finally we will take one of the missiles and shoot it out at the land fortress. So d6 plus 3. So a total of 5 shots. Oh, also off camera, I did go down to 9 CP to go from 1 on the d6 for the plasma to 2. So we are currently down to 9 CP for the guard. And then a 4 to hit with the rocket. 3 hits and strength 9, toughness 9, so 4s. All right, so that will be 3. However, since the seems to be the conclusion of everybody is that we still have to suffer the same penalty for out of line of shooting, that will give the land fortress cover, and with void armor, that's going to take it back to its 2-up armor save. So 2-ups or 3 damage a time. And 6, 5, 6, even if I didn't give myself the out of line of sight shooting penalty, that would have been no damage from the Manticore. So in some areas, some really good results from the shooting. In some areas, some very poor results. However, we are going to have to continue to push forward. So we will come back in the charge phase with the guard. I'm going to start with the charges with the Chimera into the lone Pioneer on this side of the battlefield to try to get some free movement with the tank and tie him up. Pioneer is not going to want to overwatch, so we will end up with a 9-inch charge. And that will be enough to get him in. And then we'll move on to this next squad of infantry. Also trying to charge into the lone biker. On a 6, we will make it in. Next up is going to be the tank commander, who is going to go charging on into the Pioneers. And despite it probably not being the best chances of wounding, we will spend a CP here to overwatch with the 2, maybe hoping to get a few chip shots off of the HQ tank. After the charge, the tank commander was taken down 1 wound with the autocannons to 12 out of 13 remaining, but he was able to just barely sneak by and achieve my goal of getting onto this objective. For since I gave him veteran commander and armored superiority, he counts as 5 models for the purposes of controlling objectives. So that will steal this objective marker from the Pioneers, as long as they don't somehow kill it in melee, and get us 5 secondary points for Storm Hostile objective. We've also gone over halfway, so 16 out of 30 for no prisoners. So probably not going to be getting that this turn, but we are in a better position than we were a few moments ago. So we're going to go through the fight phase and see what happens in terms of combats. The Chimera and this squad of infantry have been able to do 1 wound onto the sole Pioneer over here. And before we fought with the tank commander, I have chosen to try to crush them beneath the iron treads of the Imperium. So my 6 attacks will now be on 3 pluses to hit, thanks to crush them and having the armored keyword. And any wounds of 6 will be a mortal wound in addition to normal damage. So this will be 3s to hit. Ugh, goodness. So 2 hits, which I guess is 2 more than I normally would have gotten. And then strength 7, toughness 6, so 3s. So that's 2 wounds at no AP and a mortal. So some 4-up saves. Alright, so that will be saves, but that will be a single mortal wound taken to the Pioneers, and then it will be Leagues of Votann's turn to strike back. Coming back to you at the end of the fight phase and at the end of the turn, the Pioneers were not able to do anything to the tanks or even the guardsmen, who were able to save the one wound they got through. So we are definitely not pleased that the land fortress is still alive, let alone on that high of a wound count. But we have been able to score 16 out of 30 on no prisoner. We got storm hostile objective. I think investigate site is going to be a little too tough to do. I'm going to ditch that for our secondaries, try to get some new ones in our next turn. We do, however, have to roll for morale here on the squad that lost 7 of their number for the Warriors. So I have 2 chances to get a 1 thanks to being USRS, and then we are going to fail the first time and then take a reroll. So still a fail, unfortunately. And then on 1s and 2s we flee. And ooh, that is the squad completely wiped out thanks to morale. So that is a bit of an issue, and that will also be a unit wiped out, so that will force the leagues to get rid of Grind It Down. That was very, very interesting. And again, the rule for the mission said no passing or no automatically passing a morale stratagem, so that is an unfortunate end to one of my 3 objective secured squads. But we will see how the League can respond in Battle Round 2. Leagues of Votann starts off with them scoring 10 points on the primary for holding 2 objective markers. Our secondaries now look like this. We've area denial, extend battle lines, and bring it down. So we need to hold 1 objective marker in no man's land, and we need to secure keep securing ours in our backfield, and then the center of the battlefield needs to be cleared out of the Astra Militarum, which should hopefully happen between the Leman Russ being brought down for Bring It Down and the Bulgarins being taken care of, hopefully at the end of the guard's turn. We put a second grudge token on the tank commander, bringing him up to 2. And we also put a 1 on the Bulgarin at the start of this turn, as the call stands alone for right now. With that being everything in the command phase, we're going to go through the movement and come back to you at the start of Psychic as the Leagues of Votann try to push back against the guard. After everybody has moved, the 2 units of Pioneers have both fallen out of combat. This one back here is also advanced, trying to make ourselves a nuisance for the back line of the guard, while the Einherjar Champion and the Einherjar Hearthguard move to secure the center. The Hearthguard are going to try to go against the Bulgarin, while the leader Einherjar is going to take out the Leman Russ on 2 wounds remaining. Over on this flank, we have 1 squad of warriors kind of going toe-to-toe with the tank commander. So definitely not looking to win that fight, just trying to whittle him down as we focus most of our strength in the middle and keep our anti-tank alive for another round or 2 to eventually take care of the tank commander and Manticore in rounds 3 or 4. Not much to do over here. Looking like this is going to be the Votann's weak side, with the 1 biker moving on forward and this squad of warriors huddling down in the back with the wizard. Speaking of the wizard, we'll go right on through to the psychic phase, We're going to skip over interface echo for this turn. So we're going to start off with some fortifying, just getting it with 6. And then we are going to try to take a smite with a double 6. So first time running the Grimnir. So the Grimnir gets to destroy one of the Corvs, and that ignores the result of the perils, but with that being a double 6 perils, that will still be d6 on the smite for a total of 4 mortal wounds on the Chimera. So, one less gun over here, but a good trade-off for some wounds taken off the Chimera. Starting off the shooting phase, we are going to spend 1 CP on Ion Storm to give some additional mortal wounds as we blast out with the ion guns from the squad of warriors on the home field objective. And we are going to blast out and try to take down the Hellhound as best as we can, for it's going to definitely be a lot more effective at killing us than the Chimera. So hoping that it doesn't do too much, and we can continue to chip down with the Grimnir in future turns into the Chimera. So we have 9 shots, and that is 1, 2, 3 automatic wounds, and 2, no rerolls because this is the unequipped squad. So this is going to be on 5s. All right. That is going to be a mortal wound in addition. So I'll just mark that up real quick. And then 5 wounds at -2. Oop, dropping a die. So that'll be 2, 3, at least 3, probably 4 failed on the Hellhound. That took the Hellhound down to 2 wounds remaining. Also shot out with the remaining Corv into the infantry squad. Didn't do anything there. So that is going to leave the home field objective marker shooting in terms of the Votann. And we're going to move on to the center of the field to get started with all of the Einhir, the Call, and the Land Fortress. We're going to start off with the Einhir Hearthguard, and we're going to do a little bit of split fire. 2 of them are able to see the Hellhound, so 2 of the Atakarn plasma guns are going to go into there, while the other 3 are going to go into the Bullgrin right in front of us, and all of the shots from the Exo Armor grenade launchers are going to go ahead and into the squad of infantry in the building right there. 19 shots from the grenade launchers into the infantry, hitting on 3s. Re-rolling our 1s from the Call being right behind us. And then that is going to be a total of 3 misses. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 going right on through to wound. Then strength 4, toughness 3, 3s. Re-rolling our 1s from the Einhir champion being nearby now. So that'll be 2 more of those. So that'll be all of these at AP -1, going back to our 5-up armor. Not looking good, so that's 3, 6, 9, 12 wounds taken. So that will be the infantry squad wiped off. The rest of the shooting came out of the Einhir Hearthguard with the plasma guns, destroying and exploding the Hellhound, which dealt 1 mortal wound to the Bullgrin, killed the remaining pioneer right there, killed one of the infantry. The 3 other pioneers shot out and were not able to take any more wounds off of the Bullgrin, however. Next up, we're going to go on to the 2 characters here, and both characters are going to fire their shots into the command squad. I'll start us off with the Einherjar champion with his 4 shots on 2s, and he is not core. That'll be 3 hits, wounding on 3s. Minus 1 AP goes to back up to our 5-ups. Doesn't make any of those. Then 5-up Feel No Pain from the medic. Saves 1, kills an additional 2, however. And then finally, with the calls, Combi Bolter. Another 4 shots on 3s to wound. 2 wounds. Back on our 5-ups. Make 1, fail 1. And then we will still have our 5-up. So that will save it. So the Einherjar kills off 2 of them, but 2 remain. Next up in line is the land fortress. It's going to shoot its Magna Rail cannon into the 10 wound Vanquisher Leman Russ, and everything else is going to go into the command squad to try to finish them off. So 1 shot, hopefully 1 kill for the land fortress into the Vanquisher. So 1 shot to hit. And then strength 14, toughness 8. 1 wound at minus 4 AP will be a 6-up save. Does not make it. And at this point, the guard will probably have no other big guns to worry about. So, pardon the shaky cam as I go down to 7 CP. Hoping for a 6 on this die. Nope, another 1. Do we at least regen it? We don't. So that is going to be 2d3 plus 6 onto the Vanquisher. So that's going to be a total of 9 damage going into the Vanquisher. And we are going to have to try to re-roll that. We need at least 1 more to get through. And that's going to do it. So that's 4 plus 6, 10 damage onto the Leman Russ, who explodes. Oy boy. Well, the good news from that is that we're killing the Pioneers at least. However, that is a pretty expensive toll to pay to kill another Pioneer from the explosion. So we've also brought the Engine Seer down to 2 wounds. The Commander is the only one left from the command squad. And thankfully, we got out light in the middle with the Bullgrin and the other Leman Russ only suffering 1 mortal wound. But we are definitely starting to see that we are getting a little thin on the ground here. And that is not even considering the rest of the shots from the land fortress that were quite easily able to take out the commander. So that is one of our 3 HQs gone. Luckily, that's the HQ that didn't have the warlord trait or the relic on it. That also ends the majority of the shooting. So we are just going to have this 1 squad of warriors over here who are just going to go everything they can into the tank commander. At the end of the shooting phase, the tank commander was able to be very lucky with his Feel No Pains from the Engine Seer, making 5 of them, so only taking 5 damage, out of the 10 that he was supposed to get. So he is still going to be alive on 7 wounds remaining. And I think the warriors have about served their purpose. They'll probably get mulched pretty soon. But now we are going to go on into the charge phase. The Hearthguard are going to charge into the Bullgrin, and with a 6, make it no problem. And then the Einhir champion will also charge into the remaining Leman Russ. With a 3, that'll just do it. As he charged in, I did Overwatch with the Battle Cannon, doing 2 damage to the Einhir champion and taking the guard down to 6. And here's my 5-up to see if I regen that CP. I do not. So that is 0 for, I think, 5 or 6 at this point, or probably at least 6 since I'm down to 6. And then that will do it for all of the chargers. Not too worried about a battle take interrupting on 1 wound. So I will now fight with all of the Einhir Hearthguard into the Bullgrin. So we're going to be looking at 8 attacks from the Concussion Gauntlets and 3 attacks from the Concussion Hammer. The Gauntlets will be hitting on 3s and the Hammer on 4s. So take out all of these. So it looks like the Hammer completely misses. And they are, in fact, on 1, so those 2 will automatically wound. Then 3 at strength 8, toughness 6, so 3s to wound. That'll be a total of 4 wounds from all gauntlets at -2 AP. So we're going to start with the... Actually, all of these would be 4-up since it's AP -2. Just doing that on my head real quick. So 4-ups. Ooh, so 3. So that'll be kill 1, kill 2 Bullgrin. So we'll kill the one with the Brute Shield, and then we will kill the one in the back. Right there. And for our other combat with the Votann, the Einhir champion will have 4 attacks on 2s. And then he has Exactor, so that 6 to hit will be D3 plus 3 mortal wounds. So that will kill the tank and score us Bring It Down. Does the tank explode? It does not. Before we take the Leman Russ off the field, we're going to spend 1 command point, possibly going down to 5. Yep, going down to 5. On Vengeful Salute to be able to fire our turret weapon, the Battle Cannon, 1 last time before we die. And it doesn't state that we have to fire at the one that is in combat with us, but I think we've seen the Land Fortress is too tough to crack, so we are going to try to fire into the Einhir champion, see if we can't make this a draw in the end. So D6 plus 3 shots for the Battle Cannon. That is caught. That's going to be a total of 7 shots. Hitting on 5s. And those 6s will all automatically wound. So we're looking at a 4-up invuln save, make 2, fail 1. That's going to be another 2 damage taken by the Einhir champion before the Leman Russ is taken off the field. Doing the 2 remaining Bullgrin into the Einhir, we were able to remove one of them and bring our no prisoner tally up to 28. Just needed to kill 1 more of them or kill probably another model or 2, and we would have been able to finish with a clean suite of secondaries on turn 2 for the guard. But definitely a strong push in the center for the League. A strong push everywhere for the League now that I think about it. So looking at our objectives. Area denial, we're not going to get because the Bullgrin are still alive. We do extend battle lines for another 5, bringing us up to 20 at the end of our turn 2. And I think at this point we can probably say that we'll get the rest of the Bullgrin soon, so we'll risk it to keep area denial. So at the end of, not battle round 2, but turn 2 for the Votann, it is 20-5, and the armor has started to fall for the guard, so we will see what they are able to do. In turn 2 with the Astra Militarum, we are on 20 points, as we were able to just barely claim control of this no man's land objective, putting us on 3 to the League's 2. That's the full 15 on primary. And our secondaries are okay. We have no prisoners still, so just kill something at this point. Bring it down, kill the Hecaton land fortress, and hold the line. So no prisoners is pretty much a given. Bring it down, well, we'll have to see. And hold the line. We do need to start cleaning up the backfield, starting with this lone pioneer left in the back. However, with that, we are going to go on to movement through the rest of the command phase. As, let's see, are there any commands to do? We do have the tank commander who can't order himself, and this company commander, Arcadian Castellan, will give out 1 order, which should just barely be able to bounce to this squad, but then we will come back to you after we've moved. The Cadian Castellan has chosen to order Take Aim to the 2-man squad that is still on his home objective, and this Cadian squad that has now moved up towards the center of the battlefield to either take out the Pioneer or continue pressuring the lines of the Votann. The Chimera has also moved on up to, at the very least, be soaking up smites and hopefully some shots in turn 3 for the Votann. In the middle of the field, we have fallen back a bit. The Engine Seer is making ready for a charge into the Pioneer, while the Manticore and Tank Commander have both been able to line up shots for the Hecaton land fortress, and might just start clearing out some of the warriors over here, but they are definitely low on the totem pole of threats. So again, we'll start off with some plink shots like the Castellan and the 2-man squad, and then get back to you as we start into the meat and potatoes of shooting. The chip shots from the squad in the back and the Castellan and the Engine Seer didn't do anything to the Pioneer. So we are going to start off with some of the lower threat shots. The Chimera is going to fire everything that it's got into this squad of warriors. So 4 shots with its multi-laser on 3s, and those 2 6s will automatically wound, and strength 6 into toughness 6 will not do it. -1 goes to -none, and then +1 for being in cover. So we have 3 up saves for the squats. That's gonna save them there. And finally the heavy bolter. 2 hits, 2 wounds, same thing, 3 up armor, and that will both be going through. So we have a 6 up, feel no pain. So we kill 1, and we kill 2 of the squats right there, getting us our final 2 for no prisoners. Trying to think what would be best for this infantry squad to do, and I think I really need the Pioneer dead, so I'm going to fire everything that they've got backwards into the 1 Pioneer in my back lines, trying to take him out. And overcharging the plasma gun in this infantry squad, we were able to take out the Pioneer. However, that did get us a judgment token, which, weirdly enough, I think that's the first time that the guard have actually gotten a judgment token from killing a unit. That unit's dead. The other one, the other Pioneer squad, died because of an explosion. This squad died from morale, so, oh wow, I think that's the first unit that the guard have honestly actually killed with a shooting or melee attack, so that doesn't tell you how this game's going for the Hammer of the Emperor. I don't know what will. Yikes, well. So that is this squad, this side of the field done. Tech Priest fired, so it looks like it is just going to be the two big guns of the armored beasts into the Hecaton. We'll start with the Manticore, just to do its heavy bolter into the warriors real quick. Alright, 555. And then on 4s. So 2 at -1, going to -none. So we'll do our regular saves. So ignore 1 for the medic, and take 1 will kill one of the regular warriors. So a little bit of a chip shot there. And then the Storm Eagle rocket will go into the Hecaton for d6 plus 3 shots. 5 shots. We will spend a CP to see if we get more. All right, we get 1 more. Do we regen that CP? We do not. So we're now down to 4 CP, but that's 1 more shot for the guard with our rocket. And on 4s. All right, 2 misses. 1 will automatically go through to wound. And 4 to wound. Ugh. Nope. We'll have 1 go through at a total of -1 AP. So 3 up. All right, that does make it. Yeah, and obviously I want the guard to do better in their first showing, but the League would want to re-roll that. We'll take them down a CP, and they'll make it. So the Manticore does nothing, and wastes a CP. Finally, with the hopes of all Cadia, or at least this battle force of Cadians riding on his shoulders, it's the tank commander. He'll fire everything that he's got, including his overcharged plasma cannon. So we will have d6 plus 3 shots. All right, so a total of 8 shots. So that's good. At 3s. All right, so we will take a mortal wound. We'll get rid of that. 2 of those go through to wounds. These are still strength 8, so 5 to wound. 3 more wounds. That's 5, going to -3. 5 up saves. We've already used our reroll. Oh, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 3. 15 damage, and that will be the... Woo! There you go. So, looks like we go down to 6 wounds on the tank commander. So I'll just flip that over there. Yep, I don't think there's anything here where... Yep, nothing here that I can see that would reduce damage for the land fortress. So on a 6 it explodes. It does not explode, but that is, what, about 300 points taken off the board in nearly one fell swoop from the tank commander. So I think this guy just earned himself some sort of promotion when this battle is over, because I think that really swings us closer to the guard taking the foothold of this battle again. That'll bring the tank commander up to 3 judgment tokens, but I think he has definitely earned his stripes right now. And that is it for the shooting phase. For chargers, we could charge the Chimera into the Votann. Not much of a reason to do that. But what we are definitely going to do is we are going to have the Guardsman here try to charge into the Einherjar with a 7. That should be able to do it. Just try to maybe take 1 or 2 of them off so that the Bullgrin can better secure the center part of the board as well. And the Guardsmen did in fact manage to affix their bayonets and spike one of the Einherjar Hearthguard in the face. So that is 1 damage taken from them. We don't have any other chargers, so ongoing combats will start with the Einherjar. Everything that they've got is going to go into the Bullgrin. So we have, let's see, we have 1 hit for the hammer and 1 wound going through from the fists. Take those, take those, take those. All right. And then all of these rolling to wound. So the fists are strength 8. So that'll be 2 from the fist and 1 from the hammer. And all of these are -2, which will still be at our 4-ups. So 3 4-ups from the Bullgrin. Make 1, fail 2. And we'll spend a CP to try to re-roll the hammer hit. So that was a fail, so that makes 2. So 1 gauntlet hit of 2 damage will go through. Do we get that CP back? Of course we don't. So 2 damage going on to 1 Bullgrin, and then they will strike back. 1 wound got through to the Einherjar, which is going to bring them down to 3. So definitely going to be a slugfest here in the middle. Probably get cleared up by the champion and the call going in sooner rather than later. But for right now, I think turn 2 for the guard took a bad situation and made lemonade out of it, to mix my metaphors. For we were able to completely clear out all of our secondaries, bringing us up to a total of 35 victory points at the end of Battle Round 2. So while we are still definitely looking thin on the ground in terms of only 3 models on our home objective, an engine seer in the middle of nowhere, 1 tank left that'll probably be taken care of by this squad, and a manticore that really doesn't have any good targets left, we are in the lead at the end of Battle Round 2. So we will see how the Xenos once human Leagues of Votann respond as we go into Round 3. In Round 3, we only gain 5 victory points for being on 1 objective with the Leagues. So it looks like the Guard have definitely taken the better advantage of scoring power right now. We stayed on 8 CP to finally get rid of Area Denial, as I didn't want to bet on getting myself out of this quagmire quite yet. So I ended up with no prisoners, no retreat, no surrender, and overwhelming firepower. So overwhelming firepower probably not going to be able to do anytime soon, but we might be able to, especially with the engine seer out there that I just noticed that one of my characters can probably snipe off fairly easy. And this tank killed by the warrior squad, and the other warrior squad take the Chimera out after Psychic is done. We should be able to start clawing our way back up on the points. In terms of judgment tokens, at the end of our turn, I put a second one on the Bullgrin, since they are helping to hold that objective. And since the call can only really see the tank commander, who already has 3 the Bulgrin probably are going to be the ones to get the extra one, bring them up to 3, and bring us to the movement, then psychic phase. After moving, this squad of warriors continues to advance on up towards this no man's land objective. The warlord did have to advance to get onto this no man's land objective, but that's better than just being left out in the open not doing anything. The Einherjar champions approaching this fight and hoping to snipe the engine seer, while over here on the home front nothing has moved. As we go right into Psychic, we're going to try to smite away the Chimera. With a 7, that's another 3 mortal wounds onto the Chimera. And then we'll just try to continue fortifying. With a 4, not going to worry about it, so we've done our job there. So that's it for Psychic, and we are going to go right ahead into shooting phase. And I'm going to spend another command point on Ion Storm, bring the Votann down to 7, to try to plink off a whole bunch of mortal wounds into the Chimera. The Ion Storm was more like a Ion Whimper, as we didn't get any mortal wounds to wound the Chimera. We did get 2 wounds through. One of them was failed, and using a CP for the guard, I passed it on a 5-up. So the guard are now down to 3 CP, but the Chimera is alive. The one remaining Corv didn't really do anything in terms of fighting, or in terms of shooting, rather. And speaking of shooting, our next shots will come again from the Einherjar champion, this time into the engine seer. So 4 shots on 2s, then strength 4 into an engine seer who is toughness 4. So that'll be 2 at -1 AP. So 4-up armor, make 1, fail 1 for a single wound. So the engine seer is down to 1 wound remaining. And then our final shots will be this squad. Everything's going to go on into the tank commander. Over here, it was quite a back and forth, so a lot of CP were spent on the guard side, so we are down to a total of 1 after I spent 2 on Ablative Plating from 3 to 1, got 1 back, bringing me up to 2 CP. I was not able to survive the shot, so I did spend 1 on Vengeful Salute and ended up killing 2 more of the warriors. So that is it for the shooting phase. In the charge phase, the Einherjar champion's going to come on and swing into the Bulgrin with a 7. And he still has his 2 wounds. Then his Hammer of Wrath, essentially. So needing to beat the toughness. So on a 5. Let's see, will that do it? They are T5. So the result has to be a 6, or if it equals or beats the highest toughness, so it equals, that's going to be D3 mortals, 2 mortals to the squad of Bulgrin, taking 1 more out, leaving just the bonehead, and then that'll be the only charge. So we will now go in to... Or no, it won't. We're going to charge everything from here into the Chimera, since charging off an objective doesn't break no retreat, no surrender. I doubt we'll charge far enough to take ourselves out of range of the objective. So 10 inches for the warriors, and 7 inches for the Grimnir. We'll pile those in, and then get into the fight phase. The warriors over on their home field objective were able to take out the Chimera. And over here between the Einhyr and the champion, there is a single infantryman left after the morale phase. So there is in total for the guard 1 manticore, 1 engineer, 1 guardsman, 2 guardsmen, and a Cadian castellan left on the board. In terms of secondaries, the leagues were able to take care of no prisoners quickly. No retreat, no surrender we are working on, and we got a tally of 1 for overwhelming firepower. So despite there not being a ton left for us to shoot, I'm going to have us keep overwhelming firepower. So we are at the end of our turn 3 on 30 to the guard's 35. So the guard is still in the lead in terms of points, but we do have a lot more on the board still. So we'll see if the guard can hold on long enough for their point superiority to matter, or if it's all but a matter of time until Xenos win the day. At the start of turn 1 for the guard, here's what our secondaries are looking like. After discarding behind enemy lines to stay at 1 CP, we need to raise a banner, overwhelming firepower, and claim a tempting target. The tempting target is the one that the call is on, so no way, no how that we are getting that one, unfortunately. So we are just going to have to try to do what we do best and shoot our way out of this mess. So the Cadian castellan's just going to keep saying take aim to the squad right in front of him. That's been on, or darn near dead, the entire game. And other than that, we'll finagle a little bit with movement and then get back to you in shooting. After movement is done, the engineer advanced, trying to get the heck out of dodge from the Terminators in the center of the board. The Manticore has just moved around to hopefully clear out this squad right in front of it this turn, and then force the call to either abandon the objective or take a missile to her face in turn 4. And our lone guardsman is actually going to be able to successfully raise a banner in the middle. So he was just able to survive and is going to claim this battlefield for Cadia and for the Emperor, no matter what. So we are going to do the shooting phase off camera. So just to summarize, everything from this squad is going to go into the Einhyr, the Tech Marine Advanced, and then everything from the Manticore is going to go right on by into the Warriors right in front of them. Because surely firing one of these gigantic missiles point blank couldn't possibly backfire. At the end of turn 3 for the Astra Militarum, wow, geez, end of round 3, and all this is already that's left on the board. Whew. Definitely a brutal matchup between the new guard and the supposedly toned down Votann. I don't know how much I believe that. Says the guy who's running them and ran out to bot them as soon as he could, but whatever. So the Manticore was able to kill 4 of the warriors over here. The overcharged plasma gun was able to take out another one of the Einhyr. We have successfully raised the banner. That is going to take us down to 55 for our total score. Unfortunately, no way we're getting the tempting target, so I'm going to throw that one away. Overwhelming firepower. You're in the guard now, son. We might be able to kill a couple more things in shooting, but rolling morale on the squad here. 4 plus 3 is 7, and they will be all set. So that is barely enough to make sure that they don't lose no retreat, no surrender. That'll be another 5 points for the League as we go into round 4, turn 4 with the Votann. Turn 4 with the Votann. Combat Surgery revived our missile launcher over on the squad, who's going to try to be moving up and take out the Manticore. We got a free judgment token from the call. Nothing much over here, other than this one lone infantryman is not long for this world. Over here, nothing has been happening yet, so we are going to move on through the rest of the command phase and movement phase and get back to you at the start of shooting. Here we are at the start of shooting. We are just going to summarize what's going to happen, and then we'll come back at the end. This squad, their 2 heavy weapons are going to go into the Manticore, while the bolt weapons are going to try to finish off the Engine Seer. The Ein here is going to shoot into the squads remaining in there, while the 2 Plasma are going to try to cut down this last remaining guardsman. This squad is probably going to not be in range of anything, so they are going to, if they are, shoot into this squad or the Castellan. If not, they'll just be fine staying on the home objective. And I did forget to do Psychic. We'll just do a smite from the Grimnir into the 2 up here. On a 10, that'll take it, and then 3 mortal wounds will kill that squad, leaving it just the Cadian Castellan, who is hopefully probably going to get sniped by the Einhir or the Champion, depending on what order I choose to fire in. So we will come back to you at the end of the turn for Votann, turn 4. At the end of turn 4 with the Leagues of Votann, we have the Cadian Castellan left on the home objective with 2 wounds remaining. We have the Engine Seer left with 1 wound remaining. The Manticore actually didn't suffer any damage at all. So that tank ace of Mechanical Pack Rat, so basically permanent transhuman on it for 20 points, is definitely seeing its value even this late into the game. We do score Battlefield Supremacy for another 5. We have 2 out of our 3 for overwhelming firepower. Behind enemy lines, we can probably get, even if we just advance these 2 squads, we'll be able to get into their lines. So that is going to be 50 to 55. So the guards still technically have the points, but there are only 3 models, 2 of which are weak characters on little wounds, and one's a Manticore that's about to use up its last missile. So we will probably play through the rest of the game off camera, and then I will come back to you at the end of the game. And in the closest and probably the biggest upset win of all the games on here so far, it's the guard pulling ahead by 2 points. So in our last turns, what happened was Grimnir came up, smited the Castellan off of the home field objective. Both my Einhir units advanced into gain behind enemy lines. The Manticore was on the no man's land objective and was able to take, what was it that he was able to take? He was able to take no retreat, no surrender, and extend battle lines for a total of 7 points, bringing the guard from 60 to 67. And at the end of the game, it would actually be even better for the guard because they went second. So I would get 5 for being on an objective. So it's actually 72 for the guard to 65 for the Leagues of Votann. So somehow with a Manticore that shot all of its missiles, and basically it's just a heavy bolter on wheels, we somehow secured this battlefield from the remaining leagues, even though there was definitely enough to kill the Manticore with the Einhir Champion, the 2 Hearthguard, the Grimnir, and a nearly full squad of warriors. But that is the beauty of Tempest of War sometimes. The cards just come out on top, and the little man, or in this case, the little men in tanks, can come out to secure victory. So I hope with all of that, you guys and girls enjoyed the game. Make sure that if you did, keep watching the channel, keep subscribing, keep liking, keep commenting, and I will see all of you on the next battlefield of the 41st millennia.